Ida.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm really good.
You were just racing. Where were you racing last weekend?
Hockenheim in Germany.
Big deal, right?
It's a big event, like huge crowds. They had sold 85 pre-sold tickets, 85,000. And
wow.
Just the live show was 55,000.
Wow.
So it is a huge event.
And you did pretty well there?
Over there we had some issues. The track was really tricky on Friday and I didn't get any qualification runs on Saturday. So come Sunday we had a little spin in first round, snapped the belt, and I had to see myself beaten. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How you liking Top Fuel cars?
I'm loving it. Yeah. It's been a dream of mine for many years, and it's just as wild and crazy as you would imagine. But I'm feeling very at home in the car and with the crew I have and everything. So yeah, I really love it.
Are we going to get to see you race in the States anytime?
I hope one day, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, would that involve you have to make the choice between one or the other, or could you actually do both?
I'm thinking I love racing in Europe and with my team over there. It's great racing, and I still want to go over here full time. I don't have the money for that. The idea from the beginning is to maybe add a few races here, since I need the seat time. I want more racing. We have a really short season. We only run from end of May till beginning of September. So if I were to be able to add a few races to make the season longer for me, that would be perfect, just for getting more experience, more time in the car, and that's what you need as a driver to get better. So that would be the first step of it. That's what I'm really want to do.
Okay. So we all got to know you, of course, on a motorcycle, a pro street motorcycle. And now that you're a total, Nitro, you're in a Nitro, and you're standing here next to Bob Malloy's Top Fuel Harley. Any ideas about throwing a leg over one of these someday, or what do you think?
I have mad respect for the guys running these. I don't think I have the body weight to be able to manhandle these beasts, to be honest. I'm sure it's something everybody can learn, because I always feel like everybody can learn everything, but I'm thinking my size isn't going to be an advantage on one of these. Like I said, mad respect for the guys running these, and I love Nitro, I love two wheels. What's not to love?
Bob, come here real quick. So Ida doesn't think she has the body mass to be able to maneuver this motorcycle around. What are your thoughts on the subject?
Well, some people say that you need to be pretty big to ride these, but myself and Sharky are probably the smallest guys out here.
Yeah, actually, you would probably compare to Sharky in size, right?
I've been riding this bike 25 pounds lighter than I am now.
Right.
And managed.
Right.
So I think it can be done under the right conditions on the right bike. And I also think some of these bikes are harder to ride than others.
Right.
I personally think mine's the easiest one to ride.
Well, it's a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah.
It's one gear, high gear only.
Yeah.
Don't have to. Well, not that people shift anymore. I like people.
We have to shift.
You
have a straight bike in Europe. You're not allowed to have it on all shifts.
Right.
We're still very much into that manual-driven part, which I like.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think a girl could ride one of these given the right opportunity with the right bike, and you never know what's going to happen.
For instance, you're building a second motorcycle, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. But there you go.
I think there is a place for females in this class.
I agree.
And you never know what's going to happen.
Your second bike, is it going to be basically similar to what's going to be different between?
It's just a newer version of this.
Okay.
I'm not going to go supercharger or procharger. I can't at this point in my career.
Still high gear only?
Oh yeah, it's very similar to this. The same guy built the frame. Yeah. It's just an updated version of this one.
Okay. Very good. Cool. Anything?
We do have some girls over in Europe racing the Nitro bikes. We have Julia Wagner racing the Super Twin bike. Over there, she just started last year and she's doing a really good job. So we see more women coming into it actually. And
well, there you go. Just got to work the shoulders a little bit, you know. So you always have the best looking swag.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Can people order Ida Zetterström stuff?
At the moment, we have everything at the track, since I ordered, in my opinion, a ton of it. But to be honest, in Hockenheim, we sold so much.
I bet.
I had to cancel everything on my web shop, just so it's hard for us to keep up with demand at the moment.
Sure.
So I've ordered more that we're gonna get to Santa Pod to be able to have shirts and caps and everything like that for Santa Pod. And then after Santa Pod, which is our last race of the year, everything that's left I'm gonna put up in a web shop. And I'm also working with a company over here in US to be able to have a web shop running from here and send stuff out from here, because I sell a lot to US and to Canada and so on, and shipping is expensive, and I don't want my customer to have to pay, you know,
Sure.
20 euros in shipping.
Sure.
So I'm trying to work on an option where maybe you could buy it and have like a $5 shipping, $5 shipping.
Sure.
So that's what I'm working on now, and I think I'll have that up and running in the before the end of the year. So I think that's going to be a really good thing.
So the lucky super street bike, where's it at now? Whose hands is that bike in?
It's in Belgium. It's a new guy that hasn't raced drag racing before. And I actually get to see it not next week but the week after, because when we're going from UK back home to Sweden, we're gonna pass him, and I get to sit on it a little bit. And
Cool.
Yeah. The plan is for me to run it a few runs to get him into it, since he has never raced it before. So the plan was to do it either later this year or in the beginning of next year.
All right.
He is also racing motocross at the moment, so he has a European tour in motocross, so that it collided a lot with his races. So we have had to pretty much move it over to next year. And the plan is for him to run it, to get comfortable with it, and then decide what he wants to do.
Cool. Hey, great talking to you. Great seeing you.
Too. Thanks.
Ida.
Yes.
We're back here in Bob Malloy's pits, which is going to start all kinds of rumors about your future in Nitro motorcycles.
It's like I like bikes and I like Nitro, so you end up in this pit. It kind of happens.
I hear you. So Bob was telling me earlier that you were telling him that the Pro Street bike really helped train you to drive Top Fuel in a way that like driving alcohol cars might not have. Can you care to talk about that?
Yeah, or the thing for me, the dragsters I've driven have been supercomp dragsters. Since in Europe the alcohol scene isn't as big as it is here, and a few years back it was a lot of top methanol cars, and they are still, you know, they're doing it like the funny cars. They're revving it up at the start and they are changing gears, going down track, which is totally badass. But if you wanna move into Top Fuel, it's not the same thing, so it doesn't teach you the same way of running the car. So for me, I didn't make a step in the alcohol class as many people do over here, but I felt like when I came into Top Fuel, I think that the Super Street bike or Pro Street bike has helped me a lot more than I would have ever expected. Because the thing is, the dragster, when I drove Supercomp dragster, basically the only thing I could take with me there was, you know, how it is to handle a long car, you know, towing around in the pit, backing it up, you know, according to the guy's instructions and everything like that. So the feeling in a dragster you did get from there, but otherwise when you run a naturally aspirated car or a bike, everybody knows that the most excitement is in the start. Then after that it's kind of mellow, it doesn't accelerate that much more, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but you know, it's still nothing major that usually happens down track. It's
not getting your attention.
Yeah, the thing was like in the Supercomp, that was what it was like. You know, it left quite hard, but then nothing really happened after that. You were sitting there, you were steering. While on the Super Street bike, they're so crazy, there's so much power, and it's accelerating all the way down track. You have, you know, with the turbo spooling all the way, it's wild, it's crazy. You will have the wheels, you know, wheel stands, you can come out, you know, before finish line, mid-track, easily. And you also have the thing that it can spin if it wants to. It's just a class where you have to be on the edge or in alert all the time. And I think mentally that's the same in the Top Fuel. Of course I drive it really differently, but mentally you have to be in the same stage. You have to be prepared, you have to with your body feel what the car or what the bike wants to do and react before it happens. Because usually if you are going in a Top Fuel and you're feeling something starting to happen, you can't think about it twice, you just have to react. And I think that I had with me from running the Super Street bike, Pro Street bike, since that's exactly what you did. You were just waiting for, you know, as soon as a wheelie came up, you had to feel, is this a wheelie that's gonna go down by itself, or is it something that's just gonna continue to kick up that you have to let go of just by yourself? Because you know, when we started to run, super street and pro street bikes, we weren't allowed to have any ride height sensors, any traction control, wheelie control, or anything like that. So when I learned to run these bikes, everything was manual. It was, shifted manually, everything. And that really taught me how to, take in what the bike is doing and how to react for it. And I feel I could take a lot of that with me into the top 50.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I'm happy for it.
Yeah. So speaking of Top Fuel, I mentioned Hockenheim in our previous interview, and I really should have focused on Turf. Tell us about that race.
Turf was a good race for us. That was our first win in Top Fuel. We had a win last year in a shootout race, but this was the first FIA European win for us. And it was a big deal for our team, of course.
Sure.
First win, it is a big deal.
And you just started driving the car when?
Last year, I licensed last year. So I ran one licensing event last year, and then I did the final part of the licensing on that shootout event we ran at the end of the year. And licensed, and were able to qualify and run that event. So
that's pretty spectacular, pretty exciting.
Yeah, we had a good year. The first race of the season, we set a new European record, and we were the first team to run in the 3.7s with a 378. So that was also a really big deal for us, since it's been something that's been in the works for years to get into that 3.7 zone. So to be able to do that with my team, that was really spectacular.
You saw Brittany's pass earlier today, I suspect. What do you think about that?
Yeah, fantastic. And it's so cool to be out here and seeing, 25 cars trying to get into a 16 ladder. And I think this last qualification pass coming up, I think that's going to be wild.
It's going to be intense, right?
Yeah, so many people wanting to shoot for that. And I think the bump is on 380 or 379. That's kind of a crazy bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I talked to Krista Baldwin earlier, and she said it's going to take a career best to get into the field. So that's kind of cool.
And I know Brittany and Grubnik, they were really trying. Well, they were sort of trying to get that 300 in the 8th.
Yeah.
And they came within 25.
Yeah, they were really close
like
to it. So, and I know Brittany said that that's something that they are aiming to do, and I know there's money up for grabs to whoever do it first too. So
sure.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be several teams shooting, but I think they are the closest.
Cool. It's going to be a good show. Good talking to you.
Definitely. Thanks.
Yep.